damn it. Hello and welcome to the first Let's Read on Cthulhu Core. I know it's been a little bit, but we've been busy with things such as final exams and whatnot, so haven't really had much time to get to editing and posting stuff, but that's gonna hopefully change during this summer. I plan to get a lot more of the TOS stuff out, maybe not, as frequently as twice daily, which I had been thinking about, but at least, a good amount per week. And as for what this is Higurashi no Naku Koro ni. This came out, it was the visual novel. It came out on Steam on the 15th of May. I've been really wanting to get into it. I've read about 15 minutes worth on my own, so what I'm going to be doing is recording this and reading it since it's not actually voiced. I'm doing this all by myself, of course, because in the summer it's just me here. So not really gonna have any new content. Well, I mean I'm a bit behind on Tales, so don't worry. You'll have plenty of content throughout the summer of me and the other guys doing stuff. But as for this, it's just gonna be me. Let me know in the comments if you don't like it if I put in multiple voices for different characters, because I want to try and expand it. I realized when I read it, there's some points where it's difficult to tell who's saying what. I only had that happen once, but hopefully that's not going to be a recurring issue. But just let me know if you want me to read in just a singular dramatic voice, or if you enjoy me branching it off and trying different voices for different characters. It's honestly whatever you prefer. I just enjoy this experience in general. So I actually tried to record this once and the entire thing flubbed up. So I'm going to see, hopefully that this worked this time. This is probably the fourth time I'm doing this intro, but let's get into the game. I'll see you there. Yep, it's over there. Okay. So, that should make this bearable again. Oh, I forgot the intro. Crap. Well, we'll get to that. I might, yeah, whatever. Don't be sad. The world may not forgive you, but I do. Don't be sad. You may not forgive the world, but I forgive you. Tell me, what must I do to earn your forgiveness? Frederica Bernkenstel. I'm not going to look up the pronunciation for it. It's a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons or organizations is clearly entirely coincidental. 1983 AD, early summer of the 58th year of the Showa era. I'll redo this intro, and if I was going to be ripped apart anyways, having my body ripped apart would have been far better. I trusted her. No, I still trust her. Even in this very moment, I trust her. But I'm starting to realize I only wanted to trust her because I refused to accept the truth. It was as if I was trying to convince myself in such a silly, sobbing voice. And those tears making a mess of my face. A mechanical, repetitive sound finally stilled, and everything fell silent. Only this cry the cicadas remained, annoyingly loud. And yet, I felt as if I could still hear her voice. But that's not possible. She's no longer speaking. The only one crying is me. She never cried. Even when she repeated those words over and over, she never expressed any emotion because there was none to show. If she had no tears to shed for me, then I shouldn't need to shed any for her. Then why? This pain, my eyes getting moist. Why was this happening? I still wanted to believe I hadn't been split apart. That's enough, right? Inside me an inner voice whispered gently. My spirit had suffered enough. And countless times I'd wavered over whether I should just throw the battered thing away. Except, I've stubbornly refused to do that, haven't I? I'd feel better if I just threw it away. Even knowing that, I chose to believe, didn't I? Only I can understand that painful struggle and appreciate it. Hey, me? I've tried more than enough. I'll acknowledge that much. So, Isn't it alright to just take the easy way out? Besides, I'm not throwing it away. I'm leaving it behind, with her, like flowers by a grave. Now then, calm your nerves. Even though you can't feel your right arm, just lift it up. And with every swing, forget a little more. That kindness made me happy. That adorable smile brought me joy. I liked petting your head. I loved how demure you were. Because this will be the last time. Because when I swing this down, I'll forget. This is my first and last bouquet for you. Perhaps I really did love you. Higurashi, when they cry. So that was the intro right there. It was very good for setting a tone for the rest of the long while that we're going to be doing. But anyways, I'm going to have to get off this part for now and see if everything recorded correctly. But before I do that, I will turn that off. I just wanted to say, because I forgot, I actually got rid of the intro because it didn't record correctly the first time. Well, not the intro, but another thing. You don't need to know the details, but this used to be, well, not used to be. This is an anime adaptation eventually that originated. This is the original, I want to say, and then an anime adaptation was made. They've updated character sprites, of course, in the Steam version and such. They used to be a lot less appealing to the eye. But anyways, the anime Higurashi no Naku Koroni is one I'd highly recommend for anybody who are into the horror genre. It's always been very good at setting a tone or setting the atmosphere for the first couple episodes, and then shit just hit the fan. I'm not so much of a fan of the second season, and I haven't gotten to the third or fourth, because I believe there's like 3 seasons. I stopped in the second because of various reasons, mostly because I just wasn't, the premise wasn't as appealing, and they kind of were getting off track with things to a hilarious degree. But the original series has a lot of good points to it, and I highly recommend you see it if you haven't already. So I'll be back, and we'll get this started, so see you when we see you. We're back. Alright. Let's start this. I believe when I heard the recording before, everything was fine. So I'm gonna make sure. Well, I mean, I don't think the volume can go much lower, so I'll just read it as is. But anyways, let's start. Let's welcome back. Let's begin. Somebody has been apologizing for a while now. I wonder what she's apologizing for. It felt wrong to eavesdrop, so I tried to ignore it. It had been a while since I'd last went to the city. I only returned to attend the funeral of a relative. Even though I lived there until last month, I found the bustle of the city to be overwhelming. There's skyscrapers and multi-lane roads. I know I keep sitting on my legs, that's really dumb of me. The melodious cacophony of the crosswalk. Even the campaign speeches blaring in the front of the station felt nostalgic. The place where I live now isn't nearly as lively. There's only the chirping of locusts and the babbling of brooks, and the cry of the Higurashi, the evening cicadas. Rather than making me feel lonely, that quietness has begun to instill a sense of serenity. There is nothing where I'm living now. I don't just mean there aren't any burger joints. There aren't even vending machines. No music stores, no restaurants, and no arcades. I think Angel Mort is in Hinamizawa. I won't spoil, but I think there's bullshit here. Even Ice Cream Parlor would be unlikely. The nearest town has some stuff like that, but it's an hour away by bike. But come to think of it, it wasn't really a big deal. There were music stores and arcades and ice cream parlors, but it wasn't like I ever hung out at any of them. I lived in the city for 10 years and never once been to an ice cream parlor. I should have gone at least once. It's only now that I'm starting to regret that a little. Somebody's still apologizing. Who is she apologizing to? She's apologized so much, so just forgive her already. There's no reason anyone should ever need to apologize that much. I started to feel a bit annoyed at whoever was refusing to forgive her. No matter how bad the mistake, there's nothing that can't be forgiven. There's no such thing as an irreparable mistake. You just need to be more careful next time. She's still apologizing, even now. Then, has she really done something that can't be fixed? I have no idea what she's done, but if it can't be fixed, then that's all the more reason to forgive her. No matter how much she apologizes, nothing will change. But even so, she keeps apologizing in such a heartbreaking voice. Hey, you, the one she's apologizing to. Why don't you just go ahead and forgive her? She's apologizing in such a pathetic voice.
Keiichi, we're almost there. Wake up.
I was finally roused from my nap by my father's prodding. It seemed the train had reached its final stop. We'd spent hours riding everything from bullet train to the local routes. It was hard to believe that the landscape beyond the window and the city I was in half a day ago were in the same country. No, that they were even from the same era. From there we'd take a car deeper into the mountains. Some beautiful oil paintings, it looks like. If I was to take a guess. I'm not really good with art, like knowing what things are, but it looks good regardless. Past where the dense forest encroaching on the mountain road suddenly opened up. There, where I live now, Hinamizawa. Higurashi when they cry. Yeah, if you haven't, like I was mentioning the anime before, whenever they cut to commercial break, or essentially that's when the thing would occur, they'd have that pop at the very bottom of the screen too. So I like that they kept that from the visual novel. But I'll be right back. Right, and we're back. Even though we were approaching summer, the morning air still had a frigid bite. Oh, need to get the mouse off. Although, in exchange, you could fill up your lungs with crisp, clean air. Flipping open the windows, I was greeted with a verdant expanse. Nothing but trees. The neighboring house was far away on the other side. So I was probably the only one enjoying that view and that air. I filled my lungs with another deep breath. I don't know why. Every freaking time I start this back up, I sit on my legs. It's, I guess, a form of habit. Gotta stop that. Since I started living in Hinamizawa, I learned that even air had its own taste. I quickly finished getting ready for school and headed downstairs for breakfast. My mother was the only one there. My father was nowhere to be seen. He was probably up working until the early morning. Dad had a rather unconventional job as a painter. It's such a laid-back profession. Get up when you want, sleep when you want, and work when you want. I was so jealous of that easygoing lifestyle. I even wrote for school that I wanted to be a painter when I grew up. Dad was ecstatic about that. It was just because it looked easy. I'd never tell him that, though. Mom laid out breakfast on the table. Seaweed, pickled vegetable, raw egg, and grilled salmon. Delicious. My mom was such a good cook, it was scary. A perfect, immaculate, ideal breakfast. That is not what I want. Unlike my dad, who didn't even know the meaning of the word schedule. My mom never squandered any time or effort. She hummed a little tune as she brought over the miso soup. It seemed like she was in a good mood today. I'm so happy you've been waking up early since we moved here, Keiichi. If I don't wake up early, I won't have time to eat breakfast. I thought I was being cute, responding with a wisecrack after being praised for being good. Full bowl of rice, or will half be enough? Pile it on. First, I savored the steaming hot rice with seaweed. After that, I covered it with the egg. Between bites of rice, I enjoyed the crunch of pickles. Not bad at all. Excellent as usual. Watching me clean my plate, Mom gave me a warm smile. I'm so happy you haven't skipped breakfast ever since we moved here, Keiichi. I was not a morning person when we lived in the city. I slept right until the last minute before school and rarely ate breakfast. Boycotting the breakfast Mom made me each morning. That was probably the only way I could protest being forced to attend cram school. I guess that's what you'd call my rebellious phase. I wouldn't so much as look at the breakfast she woke up early every day to make. If I could go back in time, I'd slap myself. Mindful of the time, Mom rushed me along with a wide grin. Isn't it about time to meet up with Rena-chan? Hurry, hurry! Mom really seemed to enjoy the fact that her son was going to school with a girl. Rena is one of my classmates. She really loves looking after people, coming to meet me every day without fail. The way I looked at it, a guy my age walking to school with a girl was just lame. But, well, keeping a classmate waiting for me every day wouldn't be very considerate. Seriously, though, how long does Rena wait there for me every morning? Taking one last gulp of miso soup, I raced for the door. Yeah, I have not read this more than once now. We're getting to parts where I will soon not know what's going to be coming. Please thank Rena-chan for the pickles! Come to think of it, those pickles weren't store-bought, were they? If I'd known that, I would have savored them a bit more. Morning! Oh crap, my mouse, what am I doing? Sure that was an eyesore. Okay, what am I gonna do for her voice? Keiichi-kun! Good morning! Her cheerful... Now I'm slurring. Jesus. Or whatever. Her cheerful greeting was as fresh as the morning itself. You're always so early. You should try sleeping in sometime. If I sleep in, I'll keep you waiting. She's so conscientious. Yeah, sometimes words are hard. And such a good person. If that ever happens, I'll just leave you behind. Keiichi-kun, you're so cold. I wait for you all the time. I'll leave you in the dust, without looking back. Why are you so mean? Why? Rena had a slightly troubled look on her face. Toying with her was rather fun because of how quickly her mood changed. I'm kidding. I'd wait for you. With those words, Rena-chan... I'm starting to add chan to it, all those honorifics seemed to relax. Her face flushed bright red. Thank you. I'd wait forever until you came, Rena. No matter how long. But... forever? Rena turned bright red, steam rising from her head as her brain short-circuited. Getting dyslexic here, Jesus. She's especially weak to this sort of talk. It's quite rare to find someone this fun to tease. Have you ever read a romance novel, Rena? Huh? I have never read any before. From that response, I gathered she was interested in them, but was too embarrassed to actually buy one. I couldn't imagine what would happen if she did read one. She'd probably turn red and pass out. Oh yeah, message from Mom. She says thanks for the pickles. It was nothing. You're welcome. How were they? Not too not too salty? God, I'm gonna have to work on it. They weren't that salty. Actually, they had a pretty light flavor to them. It would have been fine to just be honest and say that they were good, but apparently I couldn't be that forthright. I'd like to ask something before that. Were you the one who pickled them, Rena? Or was it your mom? Huh? Why do you ask? Were they too salty? Her attitude completely changed as she began to panic frantically. Was it you, Rena, or was it your mom? Why are you asking who made them? Why? Depending on who made them, my opinion of them might drastically change. Huh? She counted frantically on her fingers, trying to remember the amount of salt she used to pickle them. It wasn't like I was trying to tease her, but I couldn't stop myself. Guys who take pleasure in this kind of thing are probably the worst. Guys like me. Rena nervously opened and closed her mouth over and over, trying to muster a response. It was me. Delicious. Huh? Pretty good, just like the last ones. They went perfectly with the rice. Her face went bright red again. She was completely spacing out. It truly was a lot of fun to tease her. I pray that Rena never gets taken advantage of by some lowlife. Keep at it, Rena. I'll train you until you handle it like the average person. Or so I decided for myself. Let's go. If we keep Mion waiting, we'll never hear the end of it. Seeing as she just keeps spacing out otherwise, I called Rena back to reality so we could make our way to school. This strange, easily flustered girl is Rena Ryugo. I've only known her for about a month, but I've come to realize it's not just her name that's strange. Mi-chan, good morning! Alright, I will save again, just to be safe. I will actually oversave this, because I've listened to the content, and it seems to be fine. Coming up to the next rendezvous point, we saw another person waiting for us. Noticing us, she waved. Ah, finally! You two are late! Usually you're the one who's late. I need to think of a new voice for her. I don't want to do anything annoying. But, In sharp contrast to the diligent Rena, this one marched to the beat of her own drum. She's Mion Sonozaki. For what it's worth, she's our senior and head of the class. Morning, Rena. And it's been a while, Kei-chan. How many years? I was only off 2 days. You don't say. You were so much cuter back then. Mion's gaze started at my chest and dropped straight down, focusing on the point between my legs. So she was saying it was my crotch that was cuter back then. Before you ask, just to be clear, I've never actually tried to show it to her. I've grown quite splendidly. You'd be surprised. Not only is he bigger, but he has a little mustache now. Being so engorged with energy every morning is quite a problem, though. I'll introduce you next time, so be sure to greet him properly. Don't say next time. Right now is just fine. How about letting the little guy get a breath of fresh morning air? I don't think I've ever heard talk so dirty you could smell it fouling up the morning air before. Mion sure does act like an old man sometimes. Gotcha. Time for the big reveal. Hope you don't regret it. As my hand reached for my fly, Rena began to ramble in a near panic. Hey! What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Red-faced and flustered, Rena tried to play dumb, but it was obvious she knew exactly what we were talking about. God, I gotta be careful with the audio capture, because, Getting high-pitched like that can make a big problem. How was it seeing the city again? Mion switched gears, dropping the dirty talk and changing the topic to something more befitting the pleasant morning. I only went for a funeral. I didn't have much time. So yeah, did you look for it? That thing I asked for. You're not listening at all. I just came back from a funeral. I didn't have any time to look around in toy stores. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Toy stores and hobby shops are completely different, you know. It's really difficult to get Western stuff around here, after all. Is it about games again, Michan? Mion nodded proudly as Rena giggled. Yep, I wanted K-chan to bring me back a Westport catalog, you see. Westport was short for Western Imported Games. Using that abbreviation did make it sound pretty geeky. You can just get them to send you one in the mail, can't you? Well, I guess I have to now. I'm going to get another game full of hot action. This time, I like a game that's easy to understand. Mion is a board and card game enthusiast, and I hear she's collected quite a lot of different ones. According to Rena, Mion's room has become a museum for domestic and foreign games. If there's a game you think I'd understand, let me play too. Of course. Oh, gotta wait. Of course. If K-chan is up for it, I should warn you though, we're pretty If K-chan is up for it, I should warn you though, we're pretty tough. Just what I want. I play all sorts of games. I don't intend to lose. Whoa! Then we'll let you into the group this time, I guess. Bristling with joy from head to toe, Rena looked back and forth between me and Mion. For those of you who don't know, that's kind of Rena's whole deal. Well, I'm sure you've probably gathered that now. Like in the anime, of course I listen to it in Japanese. There's apparently an English dub of it, which I've seen on YouTube some, but I use third-party websites to watch Higurashi, and she'd always end sentences with "kana, kana." But I will not do that because that will probably screw up all of the sound. So I'll just try and do a slightly effeminate voice. Mion gave an affirmative wink, and her expression perked up even further. I thought boys preferred playing outside more, so I figured you wouldn't want to. Rena laughed happily. From such a friendly conversation, you wouldn't have think that I moved here less than a month ago. I understood that they did all they could to make a transfer like me feel at home. I'll have to try harder to fit in so they won't feel like they have to try and make me feel welcome. I feel like if I acted a bit more open than I usually am, it should probably be about right for this place. Oh, crap. Mouse. Every time. Alright, saving time. Please. Alright, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. I want to say I already saw this one. It was fine. Actually, let's play it safe. Just have multiple save slots. Even more than 2 is what I meant. Hinamizawa was a really small village. Not only was there only one school, but there was only one class. That class encompasses all different grades and ages. There are about 30 students at different levels, and they all study in the same class. I'm told that, long ago, there used to be a bigger school building and they had actual separate classes. However, it seems something happened that made it become a single class, and now it stayed that way out of tradition. I was shocked at first, but humans adapt pretty quickly, and I've already gotten quite used to it. The sound of children playing started right from the morning. With such a lively mood, it felt more like a kindergarten than a proper school. Not that that was a bad thing. Mion, who had been walking in front of us up till then, suddenly let me take the lead, right in front of the classroom door. So I was meant to slide the door open and enter the room first. Too bad. I wasn't gonna fall for that again. To think you'd give up the lead here. You meant for this to be a test of my skills. Mion chuckled with a haughty smirk on her face. What is it, you guys? Step back, Rena. It's dangerous. She's here! Huh? Then Sadako-chan is... Oh, crap! I'm gonna have to do little girl voices. That's gonna make it difficult. Oh. Her name was Satoko Hojo. She was a disrespectful, impudent, bossy kid. The way she talks was annoying, but it would be immature to get worked up over just that. The real problem was this. Quite the obvious trap. A blackboard eraser wedged in the door. It's too... Oh, shit, that was me. Quite the obvious trap. A blackboard eraser wedged in the door. It's too obvious, Satoko. A haughty laugh came from behind the door. Excellent, Kei-chan. I guess that means you win this round. No, this is Satoko we're talking about. I doubt this is it. After falling for such intricate traps since the day I transferred, I no longer let my guard down. Satoko liked to combine a variety of traps. Traps that were there simply to bait you into the main one, traps that relentlessly kept coming at you like the sadistic Rube Goldberg machine, the list goes on. As well as being clever, they almost never misfire. When you least expect it, she strikes. No escape, no time to relax. By the looks of it, this eraser is normal. No rocks or anything in it. I took a pretty heavy hit from a blackboard eraser loaded with rocks on my first day. So why then why don't you just open the door and let it drop? That's what it is. That's what Satoko was after. Making me focus my attention upward, so as I lifted my hand to the door, there were thumbtacks stuck to the sliding door with a tape. A frightening trap. A potent and terrifying trap. Concealed by using the blackboard eraser. An impressive combination, Satoko. But in the end, nothing more than the trivial machinations of a child. Assured of my victory, I threw open the door and stepped into the room. I felt something strange in my ankle. It was similar to the sensation of jump rope catching on my leg. By the time I'd realized me, she had me. Hook, line, and sinker. It was already too late. I began to fall in an almost picturesque manner. Kei-chan, watch out! Instinctively reacting to, Neon. See, that's my problem. It doesn't tell me up ahead of time. Kei-chan, watch out! Instinctively reacting to Mion's shrill warning, I twisted my body in midair before I landed on the floor. Ow, ow, ow! An ink stone filled to the brim was placed right where I would have landed. I shuddered, imagining the situation had I landed square on. There's Satoko. My, what do we have here? Nah, that's not her. It's gotta be a little kid thing. A fair morning to you, Kei-chan. Keiichi-san. Aren't we a lively one this morning? Still sprawled in an awkward position, I was greeted by a mocking voice. Thinking about this one's difficult. I could, well, how much time do we have? Oh, dang, we're already 21 minutes, so I'll be right back. I'll have the voice down when I get back.